It's glad to have you guys back. It's been a while, but it's glad to see you. And so we're going to talk about another conundrum for the Quran, that the Quran is between a rock and a hard place. Either Muhammad is lying, or you're going to have to reject a bunch of the Sirah al-Nabi. You're going to have to reject the supposedly biography of the Prophet through Ibn Ishaq, which was swallowed up by Ibn Hashim. A lot of those are later manuscripts. Don't have any manuscripts that are going back to 8th century. Maybe a piece here or there, but nothing remotely full. Ibn Uqbah, Ibn Rashid. Some of these players, you're just going to have to throw out a lot of the traditional standard Islamic narrative if you believe what the Quran says right here. That's very problematic for many Muslims. Let me break it down for what I mean. So the context leading up to chapter 11, verse 49 is talking about the story of Noah, the narrative of Noah. And Mohsin Khan, we're going to use him, says, "This is of the news of the unseen which we reveal unto you, Muhammad. Neither you nor your people knew before this." This is talking about the story of Noah. They did not know about the story of Noah before this. Now, this is really hard to believe if you believe, again, the biography of the supposed prophet Muhammad. Because Muhammad, remember, with Abu Talib, he supposedly went up north and took caravan trade routes up to Syria, and he met Nestorian monk Bahira. He supposedly took caravan routes down south, where there are Christians in Yemen at the time. He was supposedly married, or whether she's a concubine or not, Maria the Copt was considered Christian. Warqa ibn Awfal, who is considered Hanif, but he, according to Hadith, wrote down Arabic, read Arabic, and translated Arabic into the Gospels. Now, what about Abdullah ibn Abi Sar? From Meccan, who was one of Muhammad's many scribes. And guess what? Said to be a Christian. Eventually, he apostatized because he changed revelation. Muhammad said that's okay. And he went back to Mecca. And then when Muhammad came back to Mecca, Muhammad wanted to kill him, but Uthman basically was a big part of preventing his death. Zayd ibn Amir ibn Awfal, another Hanif. He was traveling all around, met Jews and Christians. What is his true religion? Muhammad took food outside in the cave to him in one of these hadith. Salman al-Farisi, Persian convert, was eventually a Christian, converts to Islam according to the standard historical narrative. So how could... Oh, wait, I'm forgetting a big one. What about Medina? In Medina, you have Jews, Qurayza, Kinuka, who had Torah. What's a part of Torah? Genesis. What's part of Genesis? The story of Noah. So Muhammad knew these stories because they were all over in the Arabian cultural milieu, and outside of Arabia, North Syria, down south to modern-day Yemen, west to Ethiopia, the Negus, the Ethiopians knew about this story well before Muhammad was born with regards to Noah. So either Muhammad is lying, or the traditional standard narrative, false. You can't really have it both ways. I'm not saying all of this standard traditional narrative, but a good chunk of it is false. Now, let's stay in line with this train of thought with another verse. Chapter 42, verse 52. "We have sent to you Muhammad, the Ruhan of our command, and you knew not what is the book, nor what is faith, but we have made it a light wherein we guide whosoever of our slaves we will, and verily you, O Muhammad, are indeed guiding mankind to the straight path." So this is saying that Muhammad did not know what the scripture was previously, nor even what faith was. So that implies Muhammad was a pagan, and I could prove that by other verses in the Quran, but I don't have time. But again, that's pretty hard to believe, considering that what I said about the quote Sirah al-Nabi, and many of the verses given in the Quran presuppose, even if you have some Meccan polytheists, that these were not stupid polytheists. That there's even a tradition in the Kaaba of over 360 idols, and supposedly Jesus and Mary, these idols were in the Kaaba. Quraysh were in charge of the Kaaba. Muhammad was part of the Quraysh. How would Muhammad not know about some of these stories of Jesus and Mary? Were there not also a few Christian slaves in Mecca at the time? Very, very big issue if you are a Muslim. And we're not done yet. Stay with me a little bit longer. What do the people who do not believe the Quran, they know who Muhammad is, what do they say? And they say, tales of the ancients, which he, that is Muhammad, has written down. Muhammad's contemporaries, Quraysh and others, knew Muhammad could write. Where did he learn this from? One of the Hanif, Warqa ibn Awfal or Zayd ibn Amir ibn Awfal. Now, that's not really the issue. What are some of these tales of the ancients? We don't have to guess. The Quran is very clear about some of these tales of the ancients. And to Thamud, we sent their brother Salih. Salih was a prophet to the people of Thamud. Where are the people of Thamud? They were still considered in Arabia. In modern day, well, Nabatea, which would have, ancient Nabatea, which would have been northwest of Medina. Muhammad's contemporaries knew these stories of the ancients. They've heard about Thamud. And it just keeps going and going. Surah 18, Dul al-Qarnayn. Who is that? That is the two-horned. That the Quran calls him a prophet, but we know through history that's Alexander the Great. He's the two-horned. He's Dul al-Qarnayn. And if you just go Google for 5 seconds, a tetradrachma coin, a silver coin, you will see Alexander the Great there. But he was not a prophet. He was a pagan. He was a polytheist. Quran, historically inaccurate about that. So this puts the Quran between a rock and a hard place. Because if you believe this verse, you can't believe a bunch of the Sirah that I gave you. But if you believe a bunch of the Sirah, you shouldn't believe this portion of the Quran. So you're going to have to think about that, Muslims. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, send them my way. I appreciate it.